Hello, kiddies, and welcome to the Gritty Nurse Podcast, Halloween edition. What makes a hospital so scary? Is it the food, or is there something more to it? Well, I'll tell you, but first, turn down the lights, charge your defibrillator, and find your favorite nurse deadite, while you listen to these chilling tales that explore why hospitals are so terrifying.
You ready? Hi, and welcome to the Gritty Nurse Podcast. I have my co-host with me. This is Nurse. Didn't get a break, didn't drink water, didn't go to the bathroom, had cold pizza, worked way more than 12 hours, not enough staffing. This is what we look like after shift, yo. Anyways, I actually have another co-host coming today. And I think some of you can say they're Jimbo, might recognize him. He is none other than the amazing Matthew. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
Thanks for coming
Thank you for
on,
having
Matt.
me. Yeah,
Again,
thank you.
You know, we have to have a Halloween episode because
Always.
it would not be the Gritty Nurse if we did not. And I think that, I'll be honest, these are probably my favorite episodes to do because I just love talking about all things scary. I guess I'll stand up a little bit. Yeah. Oh God, we lost him. We're supposed to get the crash cart. Oh my God.
Let her lay on the ground.
I'm being attacked. Now it's turned into a whole other thing. Oh God. But yeah, like seriously, chill. There we go. But yeah, like Halloween is like my favorite holiday. I know for some people it's Easter or it's Christmas. It's Halloween for me. That's
Halloween.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. Halloween is gay Christmas. Halloween is gay Christmas.
We get to dress up. We get to freak people. I mean, like I like to scare people all year round, but I don't know. It's just, I feel like I'm in my element.
I hear you. I mean, the economy is scary enough, but I don't mind playing in Halloween.
That's why we need an escape. We need an escape from realism, and we jump right into horror. That's how it should be. But
I mean, that's nursing in general.
Yes. You know what? It's funny that you mentioned that, but like I think to myself, like of really good nursing horror movies, and there really aren't any. Like if I think about, I guess Silent Hill had some nurses in it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what other
creepy
had
ones.
Nurses. There's like the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but I wouldn't consider that horror.
I mean, Nurse Ratched, but there's the show.
There's a show, yeah. It was I don't know. Would you say it was horror? It was like kind of. It was meant to be, but it was. Yeah, I give it more of a suspense. What other ones? There was there was a phone one. I can't remember what the name of it now. It's escaping me. But there was one.
What is a resident calling and being like?
No, it was the nurse was being targeted. It was essentially like it's called Countdown. So essentially, this nurse, she worked on this unit, and it was like a death timer. So if you downloaded this app, it would tell you how many days that you had left. And
yeah, I've seen it. Okay, yeah.
Yes. And she downloads the app and it tells her that she has something like 7 days left. And it wasn't bad. But I think, we need some more nurses in horror. I'm trying to make it happen.
Yeah. I mean, they should just do
my film career.
They should just do Us in School. That's pretty horrifying in and of itself.
You know what? I would think that would be probably like a pretty dope horror story. Like
it would be
for a nurse just freshly into nursing school, and somehow she encounters the paranormal while she's on her first couple shifts, and she then has to navigate nursing school with trying to tell other nurses and other allied healthcare professionals that these hauntings are happening, but no one believes her because she's a nursing student. Oh my God, I could see it.
I feel like we get overshadowed by doctors.
Well, this is why we're going to make it happen. We're
going to make it happen.
Yes. But one of the things I've always said on The Gritty Nurse is every nurse has a ghost story. I don't know why it is. It just seems to be the way that we all have these encounters. And again, we have our scientific minds. We use evidence-based practice to, knowledge and
Yes.
to do the things that we have to do to take care of patients. But somehow otherworldly things tend to on night shift.
Yes.
I've never
On
heard of a
night
horror story on the day
shift.
shift, right? I mean, I guess it could happen.
If
But it's
the
always
day
on
shift
night,
is a horror story.
right? All of them clipboards running around there, like just anyways, we know how it be. But
Exactly.
always like starting with some of the scary stories that I've curated and found on the internet in relation to
Mhm.
nurses. And I want to start this first one. It's called The Lost Little Girl in the Basement. So nurses, if you're listening, or other allied healthcare members, like, look, I'm sitting down here in my studio in my basement and I'm already creeping myself out. But if you're on nights, turn the lights down low, find a comfy chair or a comfy hospital bed, lay down, turn off the lights, and let's hear some spooky ghost stories. All right, enough with my sexy voice, my ASMR voice. Let's talk about. Well, I didn't know I could do that. Damn, I've been watching them twerking videos too much. Okay, so this one is called The Lost Little Girl in the Basement. So this story plays out on the isolation of the night shift. And, again, this is all under the expectation of innocence of hearing a little voice.
Mhm.
So the setting, the story takes place is there's a nurse. Nurses tend to work in teams, but this nurse is working alone. And she's in the hospital basement. Lord have mercy, I'm in my basement right now. She's in the hospital basement storage, and it's around 3:00. We know what is 3:00?
Witching hour.
Witching hour. I tell you, you know how many times I wake up and the clock is at 3:00 or 3:33? I'm like,
And you know how many times I
right.
do and just roll back over and just,
Just like,
I didn't see you, you didn't see me.
It's just like, no, that's not the time. All right. So it's 3 a.m. in the morning and she goes to grab a new gurney. And of course, if you worked in the hospital, they always put the gurneys in these like dark, damp, crazy corners. She needs to go get this gurney. This part of the hospital is typically deserted and locked down. So what ends up happening is, as the nurse is down there in the basement navigating, trying to find this new gurney, she's in this really tight space, a packed storage area, and the nurse begins feeling her shirt's being pulled on. But actually what she thought was, because it's so tight that the tugging must be coming from, maybe it's just caught on one of the various different supply things in the room that she's in. So initially she dismisses it, continues to look for whatever she's looking for, this gurney, and feels this tugging happening again. And she's like, I just think I snagged my scrubs on whatever. So she starts to pull, and realizes that her scrubs are not attached to anything. She's feeling a little tripped out. So by the third time she pulls, and like I said, she finds out that it's not actually attached to anything. She hears a voice, a child's voice, crystal clear, that says, "I'm lost." So as her heart is pounding, all of the hairs on the back of her neck stand up. She's like, nope, not going to investigate further. And instead of calling for any help, she just gets out of the area very, very quickly. Again,
She's smart.
Yes.
She
That
booked
clear
it.
sound of the child's voice in a locked down, non-pediatric area of the basement is deeply unsettling.
Yes. Oh my God, that's terrifying.
What's she doing down there? See, this is when you're
Getting a
like,
gurney.
go with someone else. Why she go by
Yeah.
herself? It's like, I saw a TikTok of people who dressed up a morgue, and I was like, no.
No. There's
no.
certain things you don't play in. You don't play in morgues. You don't
Right?
play in
You don't dress them up.
graveyards.
Make it look cute.
If this was me in the situation, I would have done the exact same thing, except I wouldn't stop and think. I would just run.
I would just not go down there by myself. I'd be that scaredy cat that'd be like, hey, come on. We girls go in pairs, nurses go in pairs. We're gonna go down together. If I'm getting scared, you're getting scared too.
Absolutely.
So I'd be dragging somebody down there with me.
We're getting scared together. I don't have to run fast. I just gotta run faster than you.
100%. I was just about to say, you bring that extra person down because you've been working on your cardio, and you're just like, I'm gonna push you over and I'm joking.
Pick them up by the ankles. It's fine.
You don't have to run faster than the ghost. You just have to run faster than the other person.
And if they don't come back upstairs, HR will be none the wiser. So, but you will be short-staffed. You will be short-staffed.
We're just short-staffed again. So the next story is called The Ghost of the Old-Fashioned Nurse.
Oh.
Yes.
I don't know if I like it.
Old-fashioned nurse would be scary. No, I'm joking.
To be scary.
Some of them are scary.
Some of them
All
are.
right. So this involves an eerie recurring apparition that multiple staff and patients have witnessed. So there's these nurses, they're working on the night shift in an older wing, and it's like a post-surgical unit. And from time and time again, they have these nursing initiation stories. And it happened to me too.
Yeah.
Where that new grad or whoever comes in and they talk about this nurse that had died on the unit previously, who was a woman, who wore old-fashioned blue pinstripe scrubs and nurse's cap, kind of clothing from kind of like back in the day, long since retired. But again, the story gets circulated. This new nurse is creeped out by hearing these stories. But it's just something that I guess, I don't know, nurses do this really weird thing where we tell you about the ghost stories that happen on our unit. Anyhow, this nurse goes to go on her night break. Yes, we do sleep on nights, despite what they tell you. It happens. Because we have to. It's safe. Anyways, This nurse is going on her sleeping break and is awakened by a bright light. She looks through the small glass window of the staff room door and sees that there is a woman standing there, just standing there staring straight ahead. Later, she learns that the room was locked and that there were no other staff around. So that's creepy. Like, if you go in and then you see someone like just standing there, that's like, I would find that super, super, super creepy.
Yeah, especially if you're the only person there. And like, where's this light coming from? Is she just shimmering? She just
know.
Shimmering or something? She's just like, yeah.
It's the deadlights.
The deadlights. I watched that last night.
It's the deadlight. Oh God, it's the deadlights. So an older coworker recognizes the description and reminds her of the story earlier that was told, that she had now seen this nurse who had died in a car crash after falling asleep from driving home from a long night shift from years ago. So this nurse continues to return for her shift.
No.
Yeah, so patients on the same floor continue reporting seeing this old-fashioned nurse with a short haircut and old-fashioned scrubs peeking in room from room with her flashlight, standing quietly at the edge of their bed to check on them.
See, we can't even die peacefully. We still got to be working.
Oh my God, you took it there. And death,
go to the light.
Haunted to go to the ship. Lord have mercy.
We're short staffed. Oh, don't worry. Janie's here. She can take it.
Who? She'll go check on your patients on nights. I always found that as a really weird thing. Like, I understand that, on night shift. So, we get our pen lights or whatever, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that we do is we go and we check on our patients. But like, I would be super creeped out of like, if I woke up and there's this nurse with like a pen light just like standing at the foot of my bed looking at me. So again, like I think this story is these are probably all fictitious, by the way. This one is I think the creep factor is kind of high because
100%.
It's very likely that you might see a nurse standing at the edge of your bed in the middle of the night checking on you.
And hopefully, if you do wake up and they notice, they say something, and it's not somebody standing there just staring.
And it's not just like
That's
Nurse
so
Becky,
creepy.
and she just ups and apparitions out of the room, right? I was just like,
I'd be pissed.
Could you imagine? It's like, hey, did you guys go and like switch nurses on shift because this other nurse came in, but she was dressed really differently than you guys, and just be like, no.
Yeah, no. You and I are too rational. We would know that we're just going crazy at that point. We'd be like, okay, well, whatever med we need.
I'm like, what hour of this shift am I on now? Like, no. This is what happens when you don't let us get rest.
It's true.
We just true. Zombieing around there.
And not doing the best work that we should be doing. It affects patient care.
Nurses, you don't want your nurses to be a zombie. So, like,
you don't.
Staff us properly. Proper ratios and all that stuff.
Yes.
So the last story here is, okay, let's give our rating. I give that one an 8. It's pretty cool.
That one is, you know what? Like, that one is, like you said, the likeliness of that happening is pretty likely, whether or not it's living or dead.
It's most likely a living nurse, but yeah, it's still
creepy. We hope it's a living nurse, but like, it's still pretty creepy because if I woke up and somebody was at the foot of my bed, I would start, my fight or flight is fight.
Same here. It's like so Logan was saying to me today, it was kind of funny. He was talking about like coming into our room at night, and he's like, "Mom, do you remember that time you kicked me?" And I was like, yeah." And he's like, "Why would you do that?" I'm like, "Well, if you stand an inch from my face, my reaction is to go, ah. My reaction is to go, ah."
Exactly. Or flight.
He's fine, by the way. No abuse happens here. So the last story is the little old lady and the call light. So this is a story that talks about a recently deceased patient and whether this patient continues to follow their routines.
Mm-hmm.
So the story starts out with a sweet elderly patient who has dementia and never understood how to use her own call bell. Okay. So when she would need help, she would tiptoe over to the kind, lucid man next in her wardroom and politely ask to ring the call bell for her. As we know on how things go, this poor, sweet old elderly lady dies. She passes away later that day at around 4 p.m. But just a few hours later, so just after shift change, while the family is saying their goodbyes, the gentleman next door rings his call bell. When the nurses rush in, he calmly tells them, "The lady next door is ready to go to bed now." The twist is the man explains to the nurse that the old lady herself had snuck into his room and actually pressed the call light. She was wearing a white robe with her rosary beads, and really the last bits here was that when her body was viewed at the funeral home, she was dressed in a white gown holding her rosary beads. Exactly
Wow.
as he described.
That's
Right?
interesting. This reminds me of the story with Pops in the hospital.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, you know what? I might as well just tell that story, right?
Yes.
So my
So
grandfather. Yeah.
wait
Go
a
ahead.
minute. The story that you just told on the scale of the
Yes.
creep factor, I'm gonna give that's definitely an 8 worthy as well, but I think this next one is creepier. The one you're about to tell with Pops, creepier.
Well, I would give the story. I'd give it a 9, like a 9. I think
Yeah.
you could do some creepy stuff with that. That's like nun level creepy almost. Cause like I could just, or even like, what was that one that I watched the other day? Drag Me to Hell, like the old lady in the car. I don't know. I just find that horror
Yeah.
movies tend to make old people really scary now. Like they just use a lot of different tropes. And
Well,
when they bring
yeah.
in elderly people, they make them really creepy.
Elderly people and children are creepy
Yes,
when it
always,
comes
right?
to horror. And honestly, pregnant people are creepy in horror.
They do some really messed up stuff with when they go down that route. It creeps me out. Like Rosemary's Babies and stuff. I couldn't
Hmm.
when I was pregnant with Lily. I couldn't watch any of that stuff. It just creeped me right out.
Yeah,
It was too
it's too
much.
close to home.
Yeah, I was just I don't want to have a demon baby. Like I just don't want to do this. So yeah, I just stayed away. But let me tell you, folks, if you hadn't heard the story, I don't know if I had told it before on the Gritty Nurse, but I'll regale you with it again. So yes, dim those
Hmm.
lights for another one. So this one actually happened to me, and this happened a while back. So my grandfather died, and he actually he was on a palliative care unit at a very old hospital. That hospital no longer exists, and he actually was in a ward room. So he is again in a room shared with 4 people. I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm getting freaked out.
What are you hearing?
I'm hearing like steps back and forth. Do you hear it?
No, but something tells me it's
Oh my
Logan.
god. It's probably Logan, but it's just so weird because it's like I could hear it like do 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 do. There it is again.
That is so creepy.
Okay, let's speed this up because I got
Yeah,
if the
seriously.
power goes off, somebody help me, okay? Oh my
I'm over
god.
here, girl. I'm over here.
I've seen those duppy movies where like the duppiness stuff starts happening on camera, then it like transfers to the computer. So just beware.
And that's when I turn off my phone.
Don't matter. Anyways, so, so my grandfather's in so my grandfather's in palliative care, and he's in a ward room, and again I think it's just it's really sad because everybody in that room died before he did. So there was an
Yeah.
elderly white man that was I guess directly across from him. He
Hmm.
had died. There was an Indian man in the bed. I guess it
Like
would be
adjacent.
adjacent to him. He died, and then there was another man that was like right next to him.
Yeah.
I know what his name is, but you know what? Let's call him Mr. Orange.
Okay.
And he was in the bed right next to my grandfather. And Mr. Orange had a brain tumor, and that's kind of what was taking him out at this time. He had brain cancer. Mr. Orange, he was a precarious, interesting kind of fellow where he would bang. He had a cane, and he would bang my legs. I know, with the cane. It definitely was like
he would abuse you, is what you're saying.
Yes, and man, like
Physically assault you.
It was wrong, and it cheesed my grandpa off because my grandpa was like prim and proper. He just had no tolerance for Mr. Orange's business, right? He's just like, Mr. Orange, you mess with my granddaughter, I'm gonna fuck you up. I was like, yeah, grandpa. But again, let's just boil it down to maybe it was his brain disease that caused him to, act in inappropriate ways. So they would have fights from time to time, and he was just, he'd get annoyed with him or whatever. But Mr. Orange died. Again, leaving my grandpa, he's the only person in the room now and all that kind of stuff. And again, I think one of the things they talk about in death is, or when you're getting close to death, that you start seeing things and hearing things.
Yeah.
I actually talked to another nurse about this later. She calls it the woo-woo stuff, but she's like, it happens to like almost all of her dying patients where they might be or encounter somebody who died. And then with my grandfather, he had said to me, he's like, oh, you need to talk to Mr. Orange. He keeps pulling on my sheets at night and messing with me. And I'm just like, Mr. Orange isn't here, Grandpa. He's like, he's here. He's driving me nuts at night. And I'm just like, and my mom was just like, no. Anyhow, we got into the car that afternoon, and again, you're driving home, and we hit this patch where we just smell sulfur. And my mom's like, "Oh, Jesus! Did I hear Abby? You smell the car? Mr. Orange is in the car. I'm like, oh my God. I was terrified, right? I'm just like, what is happening? Is this for real? So we get home, and I guess this is the other piece. Like, so in some cultures, or actually, I would say even as far as in like Greek mythology, various different other demonology type of things, that the smell of sulfur is like usually some type of evil or spirit or whatever. So my mom thought that Mr. Orange was coming home with us. So we actually had this lady who came over, and she like blessed the house with salt and stuff. But yeah, like it was really creepy that he was just like, yeah, he visits him every night and pulls on his sheets and would play these evil little pranks that he used to play while he was alive. So
what's funny is that
yikes.
I remember this all because you were telling me a lot of this stuff in real time. Like we were kids. Well, we were not kids, but we were like
right.
I'm thinking of my other grandpa. But yeah, we were kids. And we used to talk on the phone all the time. And I remember being like, what's that commotion going on in the back? And you're like, well, we went to go see Pops.
A commotion.
And this stuff happened. And now my mom has this woman over just blessing the house. And I was like, oh, okay. Good. That house needed blessings. A lot of them. It didn't get enough.
Yeah, there was a lot of weird occurrences that happened at 148 blank drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that place was, I mean, again, like I would say that I'm even more of a skeptic than I was back then. It's just those weird things that happen that I'd say like 99.9% of the times you can explain it, but there's that like 1% where you're just like, shit, that was weird. I'm not going to traverse this any further. But yeah, just these creepy occurrences. And I don't know, I wonder if nurses bring a different energy to why, every nurse has a ghost story or has looked up upon these different types of things. Maybe we could talk about some of the myths that nurses have in relation to, some of these
relation to the supernatural.
Moments. Yeah.
I mean, can I?
Yes, absolutely.
So this myth is, I don't even know if it's a myth because I firmly believe it. If you say the Q word, the Q word on evenings, typically, or nights, you are screwed. If you say, oh, it's quiet,
you just doomed all of your co-workers to a night of terror.
You are the most hated person because whatever Duppy was around, Duppy is ghost in Patwa. Whatever Duppy was around, heard you, told his friends.
Yeah, I remember, I think on labor and delivery, I think I almost said it once, and a nurse like covered my mouth and was just like,
yeah.
And I was just like, oh, damn, they're serious. Like, do not. And I think the other one with quiet. So, I mean, we're not working, so we're good. The other one was, so is not to say the Q word, but oh yeah, full moons. That was the other kind of like woo stuff that nurses believe, that like if you worked on a full moon or was a full moon outside, that you were going to have like the craziest night, the craziest types of things that will come in on your shifts. And just also that the mental health unit, for whatever reason, was a little bit more mental health unit.
A little bit more mental health unity.
Yes.
That I mean, like, yes, I've experienced that as well. I mean, I think that what does the moon do? It pulls water. What are we made of? Basically water.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who's to say
It
that it
works on
doesn't
the
affect
tides.
us? Like, who's to say it doesn't affect us in some way, shape, or form?
I
And
don't
we all
know.
know the freaks come out at night. So,
The freaks come out at night. The freaks come out at night. Yes, they do. But yeah, so that was definitely one I encountered, the full moon. The other one that I've seen here, and you could tell me if you've heard about this, is the rule of threes. Have you
yeah.
heard of the rule of threes? So that like death or bad things come in threes. So you might have, if you have one code, two codes, you know another one's coming. If you have 3 deaths, 3 patient deaths in a row. And again, nurses just will often dread the third event after 2 things have happened because they know like shit's going down, shit's getting real.
So, the other thing that happens in threes that I've noticed is pregnancy. It's not really a
Well,
horror story, but like one person will
it
get
might be.
pregnant and then another person will get pregnant and then another person and just we lose 3 nurses for almost a year.
They just
So
be
I guess it is a
planning
horror
it. They're
story for the
planning it just
unit.
like teachers. They're just like, okay, how do we ensure we get the full year off plus the summer? This is the time to do it.
This is the
We
time
see
to
we
do
see it
it.
in labor and delivery. It's true. We know you
And it's
teachers. We
true.
got you.
It's hilarious.
I think the other one is the crash cart. Have you heard about that one? Where
Bringing
like
it
if you
close
think
to
your
like a patient
patient's
room.
yeah, if you think your
Yeah.
patient's gonna crash, that they put the crash cart out. And it's kind of to, again, I guess to ward off like a
Hmm.
bad event from happening.
Yeah.
Or it'll ward off a code blue, and I've seen it happen. Like, and of course there's no real science to it, but I've seen nurses do it where they're just like, all right, bring crash cart a little bit closer, we're gonna just leave it here, and hey, maybe there's, I don't know, I don't know how it works, but it's one of those things that nurses do.
Well, I mean, when I was in the ICU during the pandemic, it's definitely something that you do because you don't want to go run and grab a crash cart, right? But even where I work now in the operating room, if we suspect anything, the crash cart goes right next to the door. Like it's just like if we're like, okay, well, something is likely going to happen, bring the crash cart. Like you'd rather be safe than sorry. And
Right.
typically we're safe. Like typically nothing happens, which is great. Yeah. I mean, running for that crash cart, that 5 seconds to go run out there could be the 5 seconds that that patient needed.
True. And I think again, just the fact that maybe the fact that it's there, it's just like,
Hmm.
an interesting, like a flip of a good luck charm, because if it's there, maybe we don't need to use it.
Yeah, the bad energy is just like, well, they seem like they're well prepared. I'm just gonna go somewhere else.
We're gonna well, I mean, I guess there's that like image of death, and it's just like, go this way instead.
I'll come back.
I know this is not funny, but well, actually, it is a funny TikTok. I don't know if you've seen this one, where it's like a code is called, and the nurse runs into the room, and she's like resuscitating a patient. And then she looks at her watch, and her watch goes off, and it's like a shift change, and she's walking out, and Death is walking in, and the patient's looking over at Death. She like just walks, and she's like, "It don't matter to me. It's 7:30. Goodbye." And the other nurse
Bye.
looks at Death and is like pointing to the patient, like, "Not me and this guy." But it was just another nursing dark humor
Oh
kind of a
God,
meme.
you're right. It's not funny, but funny. It's
The
hilarious.
other one, Matt, I found in terms of a ritual, and I don't know if I've
Hmm.
heard. Again, I didn't work in the ICU, so maybe you could tell me if this works too. So it says in the ICU, if a code blue is called for a patient elsewhere in the hospital, nurses may turn on all the lights and prepare an empty room for admission. This ritual's belief is that being overly prepared will jinx the admission, and the patient won't need the room. Have you heard of that?
I I have not heard of that, but that makes sense. That's like them being prepared.
I tell you, these kids be messing with me. Who's that? Wild. Yeah. So again, like you said, you didn't hear about this one before.
No, but it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense because, like, if you hear a code, like a code blue, like, why not ready a space if anything was to happen?
Yeah, well, it's the readying of the space is to like ensure that you don't get the admission. Oh, there's
True.
this last one I've definitely heard of. It's the unlucky room. I talked about this actually in the Wisdom of Nurses because I had this encounter where there literally was a room on our labor and delivery unit, and let's call it room 144, where essentially like we had the rule of three. We had 3 deaths in that particular room, and again, maternal deaths are like absolute worst. And then that room turned into just a prep room. They never used it for laboring anymore. This was considered the unlucky room. They didn't want to put any laboring
Yeah.
patients in there because they're like, every time we put in a laboring patient there, there's like a maternal and a fetal demise. So this omen or this ritual is certain rooms on a unit may be informally deemed to have bad energy due to the high rate of severe illnesses or death that occurs in that room. And then nurses may feel a sense of unease when a new patient is assigned to that room, or, they just don't use that room or they turn it into something else, like a utility closet. So
Yeah.
our room 144 was turned into an OR prep room. So the patient would never be in the room
Wow.
more than 2 hours. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy, right? And this is
That is crazy.
and you would think to yourself, right? Again, there's like our rational mind as nurses, as healthcare leaders, as managers and administrators, and the room was completely outfitted to do something else. Like it should be a laboring room, but they were just like, because of all these bad things that happened, they don't use it for labor at all. And I mean, to the point where we will, like when I was working there, like those 2 rooms, so it was like room 144 and the one right next to it, they would use up all of these other spaces. And even if someone had to go in there, they would hold off until like maybe someone's delivered their 1 hour postpartum to even put them in that room as opposed to bring them, or they'd leave them in triage. Like that's how,
Yeah.
they were just like, we will not use this room.
Yeah. Wow.
Wild. But yeah, the last one I have here is actually I have 2 last ones here. So the second last one is opening of a window. So when a patient passes away, some nurses will open a window for a short period of time to allow the soul to escape and move on, or for any bad energies to out of the room.
That's an old one. That's something that I mean, like, I do. If I sage my place, and I do sage my place, you open up every window to
Yeah,
let out
just
all
let
the
that
spirits.
bad energy.
Speaking of energies, this is something I wanted to bring up because, like, when you have situations like the story from before, where you've had the rule of 3, what does that room feel like when you walk into that room?
It's like I hate to be super cliche, but like what's that movie again? Oh, The Grudge.
You can say
So
the grudge.
the premise of The Grudge is the room carries the weight of all of that bad energy, or
Oh,
the
yeah,
crime that happened, the murder, the fear that person had in their eyes, like all of that is carried in that particular
embedded. Yeah.
space, right? And it
hmm
leaves like it almost like it rips like a different like space and time continuum, and it makes the room heavy.
Yeah, it's
And
traumatic.
again,
It makes the
I'm
room
speaking about
traumatic.
this movie, but again, I think is some truth to those feelings. Like that's why they got down the Amityville house. They tore that down. They tore down Paul Bernardo's house because they just feel like
Yeah.
various different spaces because of all the horrors that happened there. That the energy is just off.
And I
The
mean, like,
vibe
us
is
as
not there.
the vibe is not there. The vibe is not vibing.
No, not vibing.
Us as human beings, we vibe off of each other. We vibe off of each other's energy. We feel each other's auras. We see each other's lights. And you can walk into a room and you can feel the energy of that room, especially if there's people in it.
Right.
It's like even at work, I can walk into an OR and feel that it's just super tense. And I'm like, what
Right.
happened?
It's like, what's the
What's
tea?
going on? But in these spaces where there's been so much tragedy, like, it really makes you think, like, if you walk into that space, like, does any of that negative energy rub off on you?
Yeah.
Because typically people that work on these units know the story, right? So everyone's trying to avoid that space. Clearly there's going to be some reasons where you're going to have to go in it, but, like, does any of that negativity, like, rub off on you? And
Right,
does that
right.
affect your care as a nurse or you being a good colleague
Yeah.
or a team player?
Yeah, I would say that it probably would, because again,
Yeah.
if you were the one who experienced it, or you know the story, it just our subconscious minds, we just can't get rid of that feeling or those thoughts,
Yeah.
and our brains are very powerful, right? Powerful in terms
Very.
of suggestion and these different things. And I think, again, nurses, we have intuition as well. We have to listen to that. And I think all of those different factors play into the fact that you might feel uneasy walking into one of those rooms, or staying in that space. And I think that we have intuition for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
We should use
Mm-hmm.
it.
We should
Exercise
use it.
that ability to be like, something seems a little bit off here, and just run. No, just listen
Run.
to yourself. Listen to that gut feeling. The lot. What the hell is going on? I keep on hearing creepy noises. Oh,
You
it's just Nurse Blake sending me a nurse at sea email.
I'll go again.
Okay. Well then. So yeah, the last one here on the list is tying a knot. I've never heard of this one at all. My nursing days was you mired the corners, but this is a new take. So supposedly this is less common, but is reported that this ritual of tying a knot in the corner of a bed sheet for a patient who's actively dying, with the hope of helping them to peacefully last until the next shift, or through a specific transition time.
The fuck is a knot gonna do?
I don't know.
Yeah. And why would you do that to your colleague who's coming on?
Because she's
You must hate that person. You know
I
what,
don't
Mr.
know.
Benson? Don't worry. You're going to last at least another 12 hours. I'm just going to quickly knot this one up for you, okay?
Oh my gosh. You're just like, not today, Mr. Benson.
Jenny's coming on.
Yeah. It's like, your favorite nurse, she's gonna be here. Hold on. But yeah, so yeah, tying of a knot. If you've heard of it, I'd love to hear back from other nurses who might have heard from that ritual, or even any of the other ones, or if they
Yeah.
practice them. That'd be kind of interesting. But yeah, I guess the whole idea behind these nursing rituals is they're probably just coping mechanisms, right? To manage stress and anxiety, the feeling of helplessness in these situations, and maybe to just gain some control in these very chaotic, high stakes workplaces. But also just, these things create a sense of community. And again, if we all share these practices, it's kind of creates who a little bit of the makeup of nurses. Like I said, we all
Yeah.
have a ghost story, and there's probably a reason why we do all these different things. And it creates bonding, not the bonding where you're initiating your nurse and you're being mean, not that kind of bonding, but
No,
just
that's
the
bad.
fact that we have a shared sense when it comes to these different things.
100%. And having that shared sense with your colleagues, it's always good because something creepy happens, you know who to go to and be like, I just need to talk to somebody for a second.
Yeah, and they might be like, "Yo, it happened to me too." And you're like, "Oh god,
Yeah.
we need to get off this ship."
Well, something creepy happened to one of my coworkers a few times, and then it happened to another one, but I was in the room. So we always say that. So in my hospital, there are 10 ORs, and we always say that room 5, the room that I was working in today, actually, is haunted. And it's because this one nurse, a few times she's gone into that room and she's been there by herself because she's just setting up the room for the next day, and the phone will ring. So
Oh my
she'll
god.
answer the phone and no one answers her back. Nobody hangs up, nothing's going on. She'll hang up and then it'll ring again and then she'll answer it. And the thing is on the phone, the number that it shows is the front desk.
No.
The call is coming from inside the house, darling. So with another nurse I was with, it happened, and I was in the room with her, and she's just like, why is this happening? Why is this happening to me now? So I don't know. Room 5's haunted.
Yeah, no, that is creepy.
It is creepy,
God.
especially when there's no one in the room with her. She's just in there setting it up for the next day, and just the phone just keeps
Ring, ring,
ringing and no
ring.
one's answering. It's really weird.
Gives me chills. Gives me
Yeah, it's a
chills.
no. It's a no.
But yeah, like I think that it's good that we talk about these various different things, these aspects, these quirks, I guess, that come with the profession. And that,
100%.
of course, we have to, like I said at the top of the episode, 99.9% of the time they can be explained, but there's that 1% where it's like, I
And
don't know.
even if it is explained, it's still terrifying.
Right. It's still
as
that
it's
person's
happening.
experience. Validate my experience, right?
Exactly. How are you going to explain a patient levitating off the bed? Explain that one. Hasn't
Power
happened
of
yet. I hope it
Christ
doesn't.
compels you, yo. I'm like,
Exactly.
no.
I would,
See, that's when you
at
walk
that
in
point,
and
I'm
you're
just
just like,
leaving.
nope.
Yeah.
I have to say, if I walked into a room and my patient was levitating, I will abandon that patient.
I'll call in
You could
sick.
fully be like, yep, that was nurse abandonment. That would be me.
Yep.
I would
I'm
be
leaving
like,
the profession for
yes,
good.
you and I. Could you imagine you and I as nuns? It would not be good. It would not be good.
Well, I'd mess up the first day. We know why.
You're over here converting people. What's going on? Right. But yeah, like you're so funny. I just love having these conversations, talking about all things scary. Yeah, we have these issues and these things that happen, things that go bump
Hmm.
on the night on the
Things that
nursing
go bump
unit
tonight.
in the hospital. Because yeah, it's
100.
like
Yeah.
the hospitals can be a scary place.
Have you ever been to, I know you don't work in a hospital now, but have you ever been to like the sub basement in your hospitals?
Yes. So the hospital that I worked at before had a tunnel connecting. So I guess they had like an old hospital and then they had like a new hospital. So but they decided to keep this
That sounds
tunnel.
terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah, creepy as hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
My hospital
very
has them.
creepy. I'm just like, why do like you could have tore this down. Like we
You
did
should have.
not need this creepy ass tunnel. Like at
Fill it up
all.
with cement. Fill it up
Right?
with cement. We don't need it.
Don't need it.
No.
Oh my goodness. But yes. But yeah, I think with that, we've kind of touched on all the various different things. We got our stories in. We talked about
Hmm.
these nursing rituals. I'd love to hear from other nurses to be like, hey, like, have you heard of these rituals? Do you follow them? Do you do
Yeah.
them? And are we just, talking baloney? I know we're not, because yeah,
We're not.
we're not.
And also, like, it'd be really cool to hear other people's experiences surrounding the paranormal. And also, like, people that are not from here, that are not from North America, people that are around the
Oh my
world.
god, those stories would be like
It'd be
trip.
terrifying.
Yeah, no,
Because
I would love
any
to hear
horror
from nurses from other
story,
countries.
yeah, it'd be so interesting. So please, listen.
Yeah, please hit me up. If you
Share.
share a story. Yeah. So, love to hear what your thoughts are on all things ghosts and what goes bump in the night at the hospital. Have you had a ghost encounter? Do you do these rituals? Love to know about it on the Greener. So drop me a comment. And again, thank you, Matt, for entertaining me and coming on the Greeners podcast. Because again,
Always, darling.
amazing. Yes. Love to have
Oh,
you.
yeah. I wore my villain shirt because I didn't have anything Halloween. So this is the scariest I get. We're gorgeous, but scary.
You gotta look good. If you can't, if you can't,
yes. Not all of us can be the nun.
I've got to put Mr. I don't know what we called him in the beginning. Mr.
Isn't that
Jackson.
just your husband? Sleep deprived?
No, this is just me after 12 hours. That's why I'm not at the bedside anymore.
Bald headed and everything.
Well, thank you so much for tuning into the Gritty Nurse podcast. I'll see you later.
Hopefully not.
No, I suck at doing this. I'll see you next Wednesday. What's that from? Stay tuned. Take care, everyone. Have a happy Halloween.
Bye.
Looking for a great gift for a nurse or someone who needs to learn about nursing? Check out my national best-selling book, The Wisdom of Nurses: Stories of Grit from the Bedside. Thank you so much for listening to The Gritty Nurse with Amie Archibald-Varley. If you're watching on YouTube or listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or any other podcast platform, please hit the subscribe button so you'll never miss out on any awesome episodes from The Gritty Nurse. Thank you so much and stay tuned until next time. Stay gritty.